All right. Hi guys, I'm Madeline here at Lakeside Table, and this is one of my very first live YouTube cooking classes. We're going to get started here in a few minutes. It's just a little before 3. So if you're watching a rebroadcast of this or you're not watching it live, feel free to fast forward for about 3 or 4 minutes. But what we're making today, just to kind of give you guys a little overview, we're going to start off with a little Irish French cocktail fusion. It's actually a French 45, but I put a little Irish spin on it. Not that any of the ingredients are Irish, but the color is Irish. It's going to be green. So, something about uh, in the States, we just love green around St. Patty's Day. The thing that I love about this menu, which is a slow roasted corned beef in the oven, some sauteed cabbage, and smashed rosemary, lemon potatoes, is not only is this a great traditional St. Patty's Day menu, but it is so good. You're going to say, why are we not doing this every week? So yeah, it is. It is definitely a family favorite of ours. We've been doing the corned beef this way for probably, golly Moses, probably since I was in high school. I got this recipe from my dad, who's a great cook. So is my mom. She used to do the cabbage this way, and I started doing the potatoes this way shortly after Jerry and I got married about 15 years ago. So it's a whole accumulation of family favorites going on here today. All right, I'm going to check our time, and at 3 o'clock, we're going to get cooking. So grab yourself a glass of wine, grab yourself a glass of water, get your pen and pencils ready, and we are going to get cooking here very shortly. All right. Okay, we got 1 more minute until 3 o'clock. All right, making sure we got everything set up. I'm gonna turn our heat on a little higher. Oh yeah. All right, let's get started. We're going to start off with the corned beef. So again, if you're just tuning in at the 3 o'clock mark, our menu today is a St. Patty's Day menu, but it is so good. You are going to say, like, let's have St. Patty's Day every week. So it is a slow roasted, forget about it, kind of corned beef in the oven. And then we're sauteing some cabbage, which takes about 15-20 minutes, and then some smashed potatoes, and that also takes about 20 minutes. So after you get your corned beef going in the oven and you come home from work and you are ready to finish it off, this whole menu will come together in less than a half an hour. That's another fabulous thing that I love about it. So in the description, if you want the link to and print out the corned beef recipe, that you can find over on my blog, lakesidetable.com. Trying to think, none of these recipes are in my new cookbook, Lakeside Table Sauces, but on volume 2, it very well might show up because it is all very tasty. Okay, so let's start off with our corned beef. First thing is first, I like to use a flat cut corned beef, and I just take it out of the package, rinse it off because it's slimy when it comes out of the package. And I don't like slimy meat. I mean, who does? But it is very tasty. So this is a flat cut. Looks like they wanted to make it a point or a tip cut, but they chopped off that and then folded it under. So it was like, oh no, really, it's a flat cut. It's fine. Either way, because this is such a forgiving recipe that it is just very low and slow. I'm gonna adjust the camera angle. I just realized you cannot see what is happening down here. Okay, there we go. It's a little better, and I need to shrink myself. What are the disadvantages of being 5'9"? All right, so take your little spice pack that comes with your corned beef, and your corned beef is going fat cap up because you want it to roast slowly with the fat on top. So all the fat juices will seep down into the meat, and preheat your oven to 275, and then just sprinkle the spices on top of the fat and distribute them evenly, because as the meat steams and the fat starts to melt, it's going to merge with all of these spices, and all of those flavors are going to just kind of settle down into the meat. So if you want to, if this is all you want to do, great. We'll fold it up. Into the oven it goes for 7 to 8 hours. 6 hours, you can even do it a pinch. If you want to kick up your flavor profile just a tad, then take a look at what's actually in your spice packet. You can use a pickling spice, which is fine. Just make sure you read the back of the label to make sure that it says that it can be used for cooking and slow roasting and corned beef. But basically what you're looking for, this is just simply Italian herbs, dried Italian herbs. There are, in that little packet, were mustard seeds. I don't have any mustard seeds, but I do have dried mustard. There's bay leaves in there, so if you have any bay leaves, you can crumple those up, which we're going to do. And then another thing that I have seen in other packs, but I did not see it in this pack, was cloves. And so you can use whole cloves. And this is a bay leaf. I'm just tearing it up for a little extra boost. So since I've seen cloves in other spice packs, I'm just going to sprinkle just a tiny little bit of ground cloves over there, because I love the deep, earthy smell of the, actually I'm going to put a little bit more, because that just smells divine. Just a little sprinkling goes a long way. Now we're ready to fold it up. So I've got a double 2 sheets of tinfoil here, unless you have the super wide ones. Kind of need to double it up. And then you're just going to enclose your meat loosely. You don't want to seal it in and pack it super tight, because you want to make sure that you've got a little bit of air in there for it to steam. And if you close it up too tight, you see that? It's like there's a little tent. Oh, I opened it up. That's the other thing. So I've had this recipe has been on my blog for quite a while. And I had one person leave a comment that this method dried out her roast beef. Well, in that case, what I suspect happened was that there was an opening and all the steam escaped. So you really want to make sure that it's loose, but all your seams are tight, because if your steam escapes, you might end up with a dry corned beef, because you let the steam escape. And this is a wet cooking method. Even though it's going in a dry oven, it's actually using the steam to cook the corned beef. So here we have little tent. It's nice and loose. And I've got all my seams nice and tight. And then we're going to go ahead and put this on a foil-lined baking sheet for easy cleanup. And sometimes the juices will leak out because there's a lot of water in corned beef. So then put your corned beef, just like this, in the oven at 275 for 6 to 8 hours. Perfect thing to do before you go to work. And if it's a little longer, this is very, very forgiving. Okay, now there is another one in there, and we'll get back to that. This is not a 6-hour cooking class, I promise. All right, so let's move on to our cabbage. Okay, so with the cabbage, best way to start with that is bacon grease. So I just went to the grocery store. I was a little short, which is kind of uncommon for our household, for me to be short of bacon. Picked up a little bacon, and the guy at the grocery counter said, you know, that's one of the 4 B's. I'm like, okay, I'll bite. What are the 4 B's? He said, bacon, butter, booze, and booty. Everything that makes life a little better. And I said, oh, that really made me smile. So, so if you're looking to make your life a little bit better, definitely get yourself some bacon. All right. So get three strips of bacon in a saucepan. And you can see this is quite a lot of bacon grease. This is probably about 4 to 6 tablespoons of bacon grease. We don't need that much. So go ahead and pour off, just enough bacon grease until it coats the bottom of your pan, maybe about 2 to 3 tablespoons. And then reserve the bacon if you can keep yourself from eating it. And then you're going to chop up an onion and let that get happy in your bacon grease. And then after your onion softens, take a head of, why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me? All right. This is a little, there we go. Okay. So the heat is on like a medium high, and it's still yelling at me. All right, we're gonna turn that off. So, and then we'll turn it back on and give it a little timeout. Okay, so your heat should be on a medium high. So the onion is softening in the bacon grease. You've removed the bacon. You're gonna reserve that, crumple it up, and we'll add a little bit of that later. And then get your head of cabbage. And while your onion is softening up, go ahead and just take off the outside layers. Any of the layers that look a little beat up, look a little dirty, just go ahead and take it off, toss it, feed them to your turtles if you have any. And then after your onion has softened up, you're going to go ahead and add the shredded cabbage to your softened onion. All right. So here's our head of lettuce. I've cut it in half and then started slicing it. And you're basically going to slice it this way and then shred it that way so that it's in small pieces. So a regular head of lettuce will generally, it'll cook down and serve anywhere between 4 to 6 people, maybe even 8 people, unless you've got super hearty eaters. And then it'll probably be more on the side of 4 to 6 people. So go ahead and let that cook down. Now, before it gets too far into cooking down, you definitely want to season your cabbage with a little bit of salt and pepper. Now, I like ground, coarse, kosher salt. I love the way it feels. I like the salinity of it. It's fun to cook with. So go ahead and season your cabbage before it gets too far along with a little salt and pepper. Because if you wait until after your vegetable is cooked and then you try and season it with salt and pepper, the cooking process is a transformation process. And it's almost like it puts on a raincoat and all of the seasonings slip off. So if you season your vegetables before they cook, as they're cooking, the seasoning gets underneath that raincoat and it really gets deep into your vegetable and it creates a wonderful layer of flavor. So I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. All right, kick that baby up to a high heat, and then when your cabbage gets nice and bright and green and it's soft, it is all going to come together and we're going to look like that. So that was one of the tricky things that I found a little frustrating at first. And in culinary school, I'm going to show you this. This was cabbage right when it's like got a nice vivid pop of color. This one right here. We're going to move on to our smashed potatoes. When I went to culinary school, I was like, okay, now you're going to show me and you're going to tell me the exact temperature and the exact times. Well, the mantra in culinary school is GBD. You cook everything until it's golden brown delicious. And that could be 5 minutes. It could be an hour and 5 minutes. You really have to watch it. The cabbage, this took about maybe 10 minutes because there's so much fiber in it. It cooks a little slower. All right, on to some mashed potatoes. You know what? Let's take a pause. I think we need to do something super fun right now. I think it's cocktail time. What do you think? Okay, so this is our French-Irish fusion. It's actually a French 45, but because I'm coloring it green, it's a French 45. All right, so in that, get yourself a little shaker, and we are going to put a little bit of honey. So a normal French 45 calls for about an ounce of simple syrup. I'm using honey instead because I like the botanicals. I like the sweetness. It's not sugary sweet, but it's a botanical sweet. All right, and this is a really fun gin. This is an Empress gin. It's purple. I don't know if you can see just how beautiful this color is. We're gonna do 1.5 ounces of Empress gin. Let me show you how gorgeous this color is. Now you can use any gin you want. You can use a clear gin. You can use whatever you like. I was like, well, I wanted to do something that was green. So I'm thinking yellow and blue make green, right? Remember the color wheel? The only thing blue in the liquor store was blue Curaçao. I'm not going to drink blue Curaçao ever again after I make this cocktail. Now, I will drink Empress gin, and I'll make an absolutely gorgeous gin and tonic that's purple. So, all right, now we're going to do a juice of 1 lemon. And if you don't have a super juicy lemon, use 1.5 lemon. And so we've got 1.5 ounces of gin. We've got probably 2 ounces of lemon juice. We've got a little bit of honey. And we are going to shake this up with, this is our magic green powder, spirulina. Now, I would almost make the argument that because there's lemon juice in this, I put about maybe 1/2 teaspoon there, but you can play with the amount that you want. If you wanted a light green, put less. If you want a darker green, put more. You can't taste it. It just makes it absolutely gorgeous color. All right, and then some ice into our shaker. Make sure you put a top on it. I have done videos where I have shaken it up and I've forgotten to put the top on it. Makes kind of for an exciting cocktail. All right. Give that a nice shake. Oh, wait, did I put this on too tight? All right. Oh, this is gorgeous. All right, there we go. All right, and then a French, I keep wanting to say French 75. A French 45 is served in a champagne flute. So look how gorgeous that color is. So the amount that I just told you can be split between 2 cocktails. Isn't that gorgeous? But wait, there's more. And then you're going to top it off with a little Prosecco, sparkling wine, favorite champagne. There we are. All right, here we go. How gorgeous is that? Ooh la la. A little carried away. You know, this is another great drink that you could make if you're having like a sea themed party, like an under the sea party or a Little Mermaid or a mermaid party, or I don't know. How many of us really have a mermaid party? Maybe we should have more of that. Okay, so I'll put this over here to the side, and we will start on our smashed potato, and then we will finish up with our corned beef, and then dinner will be ready. Okay, so potatoes. These are little baby potatoes, right? Little bitty guys. So you can nuke these in the microwave, and if you do, make sure you stab them a couple of times with a knife or with a fork. Otherwise, after about 2 or 3 minutes, they will explode and you will have a mess all over your microwave. Ask me how I know. Been there, done that. Poke holes in these guys. Or you can steam them. You could technically boil them, but for real, I mean, that would just take forever, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. So steam your potatoes or microwave them. Now I microwave these. I just washed them, poked them, and then threw them in the microwave for 10 minutes, and they're super soft. And then smash them with a flat edge. Kind of pull back here so you can see this a little bit. And they smash super easy. So take a little bit of that leftover bacon grease in a skillet that you poured off for your, we had a little too much for our cabbage, and then put that in another pan, and then put your potatoes in there and grill them up. This is obviously, my potatoes have cooled down a little bit. Salt and pepper your potatoes, and while they're frying up in the bacon grease, salt and pepper them. And then at the very end, last few minutes of cooking, sprinkle in a little bit of chopped garlic, rosemary, maybe some thyme, a little parsley, and et voila, you are done. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our corned beef in the oven, and I'll show you how to finish that off. Now, if you're looking for a few cooking tips on how to cook with garlic and onions, I will put a link down in the video description to cooking tips on onions and garlic. There's some really little minute tips that will make cooking fun and easy so that you don't burn your garlic. All right, let's pull this guy out of the oven. All right, and I put this bad boy into the oven this morning around 8. It's now a little after 3. It's 3:20. And we're going to turn the oven on to broil. There we go. Put it on a low to medium broil. Unfold your, can you see the steam? I don't know if you can see that, but It's pretty awesome. All right, here we go. Don't worry about pouring off the water or the juice from the corned beef. Just make a nice little nest right here. I'll show you what this looks like. You can pour it off if you want. That looked nice. So now we're going to stick it back in the oven under a broil, and we're going to burn off that fat cap. But I don't want these spices to burn and smoke. So I'm just going to scrape these to the side because we're just trying to get to the fat cap. And we're going to broil this until it's GBD. That's right. Golden brown, delicious. All right. Get all these little mustard seeds off. All right. There we are. So this goes back in the oven literally for probably like 2 minutes max. All right. While we're doing that, we're going to finish plating up our cabbage and potatoes. We'll get a little bit of herbs and spices on top of there. And while we're waiting on our corned beef, let me just share a couple of those tips that I was talking about with the onion and the garlic. So a lot of recipes will say, get your oil hot and then add your onions and garlic. You don't want to do that. Onions burn slower than garlic. Garlic burns faster than onions. So this little guy here, that's the butt of the garlic. You want to go ahead and chop that off. And then if onion gives you some heartburn, or if you have some issues, you don't want too much garlic. I've never run across too much garlic. You can pull out the germ, which is this little guy here. It looks like he's getting ready to sprout. This is the super hot part of the garlic. This is the garlic that gives garlic breath, also known as El Diablo, the devil of garlic. All right, so now you can go ahead and chop that up. And then after your onion is soft, then go ahead and add your garlic at a little bit lower temperature, lower your temperature on the stove, and then add your garlic. All right, let's take another look at our cocktail here. Isn't that gorgeous? So gorgeous. Oh, it's a little lemony, very herbal, nice and light. This is a great springtime summer drink. I think I'm gonna keep putting spirulina in my French 75s, or is it French 45 or 75? I'm pretty sure it's 45. I just think that is just so pretty. I mean, that is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, let's check on our corned beef. And definitely need a hand towel here. Oh yeah, we are at the dance. All right. Was that like, whoa, that was hot. All right, there we go. Come on. Yeah, baby. There we go. Hot and sizzling. The fat cap burning off. It's getting nice and GBD. We're going to go ahead and, okay, so main reason why I absolutely, look how tender this is, adore this method of cooking corned beef is it stays incredibly tender, incredibly moist, and you don't lose any of the flavor. A lot of times when you boil corned beef in water, obviously, because that's what you're boiling it in, it loses the flavor, and the flavor goes right into the water. Well, you don't want that. You want the flavor to go in your mouth. All right, so here, dinner is served. We'll add a little parsley, rosemary, a little thyme. We have our, oh, you know what? I almost forgot to tell you the secret ingredient to the cabbage. So after the cabbage is wilted, it's fork tender. This is add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And if you don't have apple cider vinegar, the juice of a lemon works as well too. A little squeeze of lemon over your potatoes, maybe just a little more over your cabbage, and dinner's served. Cabbage loves that acid. The potatoes love the acid. I love the acid. It's so good. All right. So bon appetit, gang. Enjoy. Happy St. Patrick's Day. If you haven't liked and subscribed by now, I don't know, stick around for more videos. Like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. You know what? I've got to try this. I've been smelling this all day. And can you see just how tender? Oh my gosh, that just falls. Amazing. Oh my God. It's still firm and stays together. So juicy, so tender, so good. And these potatoes with the lemon and the rosemary, and it's just a little pop of that lemon right there at the end. And it's crispy. And then we took a little bit of that bacon and crumpled it up because it's one of the 4 B's, right? Makes everything better. And crumple it over the cabbage and the potatoes, and you have got a St. Patty's Day feast. Absolutely. Little fresh thyme on the cabbage, salt and pepper. Don't forget the vinegar, the apple cider vinegar. So good. Oh my God, your family's gonna love this. All right, guys. Happy St. Patty's Day. Go have fun in your kitchen. Go do something great. I hope you enjoy the Irish 45, and I will see you next time. Okay, take care. Bye, guys. I gotta figure out how to turn this thing off. Oh, that was fun. All right, gang. How do we end this? Where's that little mouse? Bye.